And welcome into the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. I'm Chris Pelican, joined by Grant Salzman. Tigers lose in not really impressive fashion to Kansas, 80-60, your final score as the border war goes to the Jayhawks in a decisive game. Tigers fall to 8-2 on the season with the loss today. Folks, as always, this is a two-person show, but we would like to have you involved as well. Jump in on the YouTube chat and go ahead and send us your comments, and while you're down there, give us a like and subscribe as well. We greatly appreciate it. Join the family here at STL Sports Central. Grant, 80-60, the final score. Tigers lose in Kansas City to KU in a game that for about 15 minutes or so in clock time was a decent game. And then the rest of it was not. Your thoughts on just an ugly afternoon in Kansas City for the home team?
Yeah, about, like you said, 15 minutes or so where Mizzou, not only was it a decent game, Mizzou was leading the decent game. I mean, they jumped out, and it was fun. It was a fun game. They looked good. Kansas wasn't shooting well, which was aiding Missouri, but it was just a pitiful offensive performance. It's really, honestly, the best way I can describe it. I mean, Missouri, time and time again, it looked like they had nothing going offensively. It was disappointing.
Yeah, no two ways about that. Speaking of disappointment, I had the chance to go to a friend's birthday party today and missed it to watch this game. So shout out to my friend Chris Sinensei on his 48th birthday. So very, just a double-edged, very, very bad day for me on a lot of different levels here. But Grant, I mean, you look at this thing, and the spread in this one, brought to you, of course, by our good friends at DraftKings, was 4.5. Okay, the bettors thought this would be a close game. I'm not exactly sure where to go with this thing, because the truth is, I won't mince words on this one. I think that Bill Self coaches offense in a way that is on a different level than Dennis Gates. You saw that. Darren Peterson, the all-world freshman, didn't even play in the second half, and KU basically pulled away in a game without their star player. And that's because they screen so well, they pass so well, they move the ball. And when you watch the Tigers, we see Mark Mitchell trying to isolate every time. KU double, sometimes triple teamed him. This one was a tough one. And, they got no help from the officiating. Again, that's not the reason they lost this game at all. But, by and large, every time the Tigers were in the lane, there were no fouls called. When KU took it to the basket, there were a lot of fouls called. So, changed the complexion of the game. But that being said, I mean, if you're a Tiger fan, you go from seeing a lot of things that were probably positive in the first 8 games of the season to things that are extremely not positive over the course of the last 2 games. And, it's dangerous to question the heart of teams, right? It's dangerous to do something like that. This team shows up in spurts that works against, mid-major and low-major competition. You are not going to win very many games the rest of the season if they decide to play defense for 10 minutes like they did today and then pass on it for the remaining 30. I just don't know really where to go with this group right now.
And the thing is, I'm not even as up in arms about the defense as I am other things. I thought a key for Mizzou would be the turnover battle. They had committed 10, Kansas committed 9. No issue there. The free throw shooting was dreadful, 11 for 21, 52%. But I mean, Chris, you can't shoot 21 for 61 from the field, 34%, and win a football game. It just can't, or a basketball game. Sorry.
Only either shooting 34%.
It just can't happen. I mean, the defense was bad, but the offense was even worse. Mark Mitchell, 21 points. Again, 7 for 15. It was fine. Missed 5 free throws. That's bad. But there's nobody else. There's nobody else with help. I mean, Jacob Cruz has 11 points, makes 3 threes late, but there was no help anywhere for Mark Mitchell. I mean, he is getting double and triple teamed, and there's no one to his rescue. There's got to be someone to kick it to that you feel comfortable with. And hopefully Jaden Stone's that guy when he's back, but I still think they need more than that.
I mean, but you watch, right? You watch the way KU plays offense. And I'll go out on a limb and I'll say you take Darren Peterson off of Kansas' team, and there's no talent discrepancy between Mizzou and KU. I mean, I think that Mizzou might even have the more talented team, but the way that KU moves without the ball, the way they screen, the way they pass, there's no stagnation in their offensive game plan. And if you watch Mizzou, there's so much standing around. It's let's isolate Mark Mitchell. Let's try to attack the basket. Okay. And, you weren't maybe getting calls attacking the basket today. But again, when you shoot 11 of 21 from the free throw line, I mean, did you really lose out on that much? I mean, again, I don't really understand what Dennis Gates is trying to do with this team offensively. And look, let's be real about this KU team. They were picked to finish 6th in the Big 12. Okay. This is not a top 5 national team. And again, this was certainly a home game for KU. I believe they were saying it was about a 90-10 split in the audience. So, make no mistake, but there were numerous comments by the broadcast team that it was nothing like playing at Fog Allen, despite the fact that the T-Mobile Center is bigger, but the atmosphere was much more milquetoast. And, you factor all that in, and you get whitewashed by 20 by the 6th place Big 12 team, and you sit there and say, what is this going to look like in the SEC? A conference that, by all accounts, is probably on par with the Big 12. Big 12 is a good conference this year. No two ways about that. But again, there were times you and I talked about this. There were times where I looked at this team from a talent standpoint and said, this could be a second weekend tournament team.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I look at this and I say, there have got to be significant changes, not only in the way they play offense, but their intensity on defense. And I mean, you can tell me that the defense didn't bother you. It
wasn't great.
When you play defense the way they play defense, they gave them no chance to come back, right? I mean, the second half, what was a 5-point game with about 30 seconds to go in the first half ends up being a 12-point game less than a minute into the second half. And at that point in time, the game was over. They could not get stops. And I mean, the first 10 minutes of the game, if you go back and watch, they played different defensively. I don't know what happens to this team that they just decide, hey, it's important that we play defense now. And then all of a sudden it's not. And we're going to stand around and we're going to watch this team pick us to death, throw the ball in the middle of our zone, the vaunted zone that Mizzou switches to. I mean, KU ate that up, and again, I don't know how much you're going to change offensively with this group. They're going to be who they are, which is Mark Mitchell isolation, maybe Anthony Robinson isolation, try to run some screens for Jacob Cruz. Maybe you get back to Jaden Stone and maybe a little Sebastian Mack, who hasn't played at all the last 2 games, getting to the basket a little bit. But, for the most part, they're doing very little. I think this team is going to have to win and lose games this year based on what they do defensively. And it has to look like it did for the first 10 minutes or 40. And if they do that, they have a chance to have a decent season. If they play defensively like they did today, this is going to be another team that probably doesn't win 5 games in the SEC.
And for me, I think part of it was the post players, the postmen down, the big man, your 3, 4, 5s down low weren't playing good enough defense, which was then either leaving your guards trying to help and then Kansas would kick out, or wide open dunks, layups right in the heart of the defense. That is where it grew frustrating, was the post players weren't great. And I think on top of it, to your point, is I don't question the heart, because Mizzou was still going after balls on the floor, going for loose balls, rebounds. Like, I don't think it was an effort issue. I really don't. I think it was a coaching game plan issue. Like, I didn't see many instances where I thought, oh man, they don't want it. Like, I really think that they were just put in bad situations. And honestly, Dennis Gates has to be better. Like, I want to call out Dennis Gates, because I think this was one of the worst basketball games he's ever coached. Maybe back-to-back 3 halves in a row of awful basketball. Like, if you take out the first 10 minutes, I thought he coached that fine. We have the last 70 minutes has been some of his worst ever at Missouri. If you go last 20 minutes against Notre Dame and then the last 30 minutes of this game, so 50 of the last 60, it's not good enough. There's no offense, there's no sets, there's no plan. It's let's go out and play basketball, which might work next year. It might work next year that you roll the ball out and you have 3 of the best players in the country and they just go hoop, basically, and it might be fine. But this year, what Bill Self is doing is coaching, bringing the sum to be greater than the parts, and that's not what's happening at Missouri. I mean, this was outclassed today, Bill Self and Dennis Gates.
I love you, Grant, but I'm going to disagree with you vehemently on the defensive issue and that being a coaching problem. Defense is athleticism and intensity. This team has athleticism in spades. Yeah. There is no reason that they should not be able to fight through screens. There's no reason they should not be able to, man up on guys. And for a team that prides itself on its switching ability, right? I mean, that is Leonard Hamilton basketball 101, right? Switch. They looked lost They looked lost on switches all day long. And again, that is not coaching in my mind. That is, these guys know how to do this. That is them wanting to fight through a screen. That is them wanting to box guys out. That's what that is. I mean, it is, you've got to play, this is the whole, like, bringing a knife to a gunfight. I mean, you have got to be able to get in there for 40 minutes. And, Anthony Robinson, it got to a point with him where I think he just was trying to do things to stir the team up. And the technical foul thing was kind of silly. It seemed like that
was
yeah, it was a wasted foul. Right. And, but by the same token, I mean, like, we have seen this team succeed when its defense leads it. Right. And I mean, like, their best moments are when they get stops or when they get steals. Yeah. And it has to be that way, right? I just do not think that you're going to be able to all of a sudden turn this team into, Tex Winter triangle offense. Like, boy, we move the ball perfectly and we're getting layups, all day long. That's not going to happen with this team. They are who they are. Yeah, 100%. They've got to get transition buckets. They certainly have to shoot better. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I think we will look through the SEC schedule. And if this team is shooting sub 40%, they probably are not going to win a game, no matter how good they play defensively. They have to shoot well. So we agree on that. But again, I'm telling you, like, and I just don't know if Gates is capable of it, because that's not his demeanor. He's not a firebrand. He's not the guy. He is the most calm guy in the building all the entire game. And you know what? While I like that as like a human being and he's not Bob Knight, punching kids and throwing chairs onto the floor. Sometimes I wish we saw a little bit more of it, because I think his team needs to, they need to follow. They need to follow with the same level of intensity. And that has to be every single defensive possession. You're not all going to end up in stops, but boy, you got to make the other team earn those buckets. So our good friend Jeremy Hodge jumps on actually and saying Mark Mitchell needs to be, there needs to be a Robin to the Mark Mitchell Batman. I mean, and there's no doubt about that, and I think we are hoping Jaden Stone can be that guy. Anthony Robinson's offensive game is real hit and miss. Jacob Cruz has got to be a guy who hits 3 or 4 threes every single game. We just have to see that. But I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been more sure of anything in my life than I am that this team needs to play excellent defense to win games.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen, it's kind of like a 2022 Dennis Gates team of there needs to be really good defense. You think of Demoy Hodge. While that team gave up a lot of points, they created a lot of points because of their defense. Anthony Robinson and Honor Boateng are those guys with the defense. It just needs to be shown. Like, there needs to be a way to create the offense. And I agree with Jeremy Hodge here. My real point on that little rant I went on was the defense. If it's whatever, like if you think it's hustle, I'm not gonna totally disagree with that. But the big thing is the offense. There's no rhyme or reason to do what they're doing. Like, there is just no rhyme or reason of the sets they are running. Like, there's no sets. That's the problem. It feels like pickup basketball.
Isolation, ISO basketball.
Yes.
Right. Give the ball to Mitchell. And KU responded with double and triple teams almost every time that he was parked in the post. Right. So, I mean, it's good teams. There's a blueprint to beat Mizzou, and they will do that this year. The Tigers have to adjust. And again, I just think that they have to make it very difficult to play against them from a defensive standpoint. This is the Mizzou Central Postgame Show. It is brought to you in part by the Legal Buddy app. Life happens fast. 1 minute you're driving home, the next flashing lights are in the rear view. When trouble knocks, answer with confidence. With the Legal Buddy app, you can connect to a local attorney in seconds, whether it's a DWI, car accident, criminal charge, or traffic ticket. Download the Legal Buddy app today at legalbuddy.com. Register and use the code LEGAL, that's LEGAL, to enter for a chance to win a $250 Amazon gift card, always on your side. That is the Legal Buddy app. Tigers lose 80-60 today to Kansas. They fall to 8-2 on the season, back-to-back losses after their Thursday loss to Notre Dame. That was Thursday, wasn't it? Or was it Wednesday? I don't even know. Grant, when you get my age, buddy, the days all just sort of do this.
Wednesday.
No,
it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
I mean, if you told me it was Monday, I'd believe that too, buddy. I'd believe that too for sure. So again, Tigers lose. Anthony Robinson picking up 3 fouls in the first half. I'm getting to the point with this team where, we talked about the defense for 10 minutes there. It seems like Anthony Robinson is the heartbeat of this team. Do you disagree with that?
No, I agree. Yeah.
And so, boy, if Dennis Gates is going to say anything, it's got to be to Anthony Robinson that you've got to walk that tightrope every single game and understand that you are kind of the driving factor behind what this team does in a lot of ways emotionally. So getting 3 fouls, especially with the technical, and then picking up his 4th as early as he did in the second half, just can't happen.
It can't happen. Like this, I'm at the point with him too, is this is supposed to be his year and he has to play with a little bit more maturity to not allow 4 fouls to happen that quickly, because he just can't do anything when he gets that. Like this team needs him, and without him, he's so integral. Especially, we're not really sure if it's T.O. Barrett's time yet. Who's the point guard if Anthony Robinson's not out there? I trust T.O. Barrett in spurts, but I don't trust T.O. Barrett to be the main guy. And right now, when Anthony Robinson's in that much foul trouble, that's what basically Mizzou's asking him to be.
T.O. Barrett, 27 minutes today. There's things that T.O. Barrett does that I like. I do think that he plays hard. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah.
But I also think he is a limited player in a lot of ways. And it is looking, I think when we talk about last year's team, everybody wants to sit there and tell you that, Tamar Bates and Caleb Grill just massive, seismic losses for this program. Could not agree more. Obviously, those guys did a lot of things that this team right now could use. But yeah, I'm going to go back. I'm going to say that almost on that level, not same level, but them losing Tony Perkins. Okay. I don't think T.O. Barrett is in the same stratosphere at this point in time as Tony Perkins was in terms of being a ball handler and a leader on the court. I think they take a massive step back when T.O. Barrett's on the court. I think it's a problem when he plays 27 minutes. We did our breakdown a couple weeks ago when we talked about the amount of minutes guys should be playing. And I felt very good about saying T.O. Barrett's a 10-minute-a-game guy.
Yeah.
Okay. There's not enough good in his game that he should be out there 27 minutes in a high-level Division I college basketball game. I guess at this point in time, the question is, do they really have anybody else? We saw Jaden Stone handling the ball a little bit before he got hurt. We saw Sebastian Mack down the stretch. Now, that's garbage minutes. They weren't in the game ever. Sebastian Mack didn't play till the second half. So I'm starting to wonder what's going on there. I mean, I think that if you would have told me a month ago that Nicholas Randall would be on the court before Sebastian Mack in a game against Kansas, I think I'm sitting there saying Houston, we have a problem at this point in time. You and I have talked a lot about the rotation of this team. And right now, I am not sure if Dennis Gates has any idea beyond Anthony Robinson being out there as long as his foul trouble holds up, Mark Mitchell being out there. I mean, we haven't seen anything real consistent with the bigs. I mean, I thought Sean Phillips in the first 6 games. Yeah, I mean, and he's a guy that you need. Like he does things that you need. Luke Northweather, I don't think should be playing as much as he's playing right now. What are your thoughts on what we're seeing from a playing time standpoint with this group?
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought Phillips had a fine game, 7 points, 4 boards. Would have liked to see a little bit more. He turned it on a little bit in that second half. I don't need to see Luke Northweather for 13 minutes. I'm sorry. Like, I know when he was out there, Missouri cut it down a little bit, but he's a guy that's 8 to 10 minutes, maybe with a lead, a guy is going to probably put your team in the right position. He just doesn't move a needle. I don't think he's a huge, what's the word?
Liability?
Yeah, I don't think he's a huge liability, but he's also not really a needle mover. And when you were down 10, 15 points, you needed a guy that, here we go, he's either going to get 15, 20 or nothing. Like, you needed a guy to play with a little bit more fire on his head, and I just don't think that's Luke Northweather. Randall getting 7 minutes was perplexing. I didn't even realize Trent Burns, it says, played 2 minutes.
He got in at the end. And you know what's funny about Trent Burns being in there? And again, like, I mean, hey, you see him
not playing more. Like,
well, okay, but I'll say this. He's 7'5", right? So you're like, wow, this. And then they're running their zone. And if you have a 7'5" guy in the middle of the zone, do you think that you should ever give up an alley-oop dunk, which they did while Trent Burns is standing there kind of going like this? And again, like, I mean, this kid hasn't played basketball in a full year. I mean, and I don't know what Trent Burns ends up becoming, but like this whole, like, let's just sort of see what we have against KU. I mean, you got 2 games coming up. Yeah. You got Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman. Those are Trent Burns games. Yes. Okay. And then you got Illinois, and then you got the SEC. And if you don't see something in those games, but I mean, like, if he's still trying to figure out what his rotation looks like, there's an issue here. And again, I think that whereas I was bullish on this team, and this is the nature of college basketball. You got 18 to 22-year-old kids playing, so there is a lot of inconsistency, but I saw so much I liked up to this point, and now I am confused / pessimistic about this group.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a tournament team. I really did. I thought that this team was good enough to make the NCAA tournament. And right now, they're not proving to me that they are, just because they don't have the options, the scoring threats, the defense that I thought. I think the biggest frustration right now is, if we're looking at the schedule outwardly, they don't have a win that will be put on the resume. They don't have a bad loss, but they don't have a good win. Like that Notre Dame game, you had to win that basketball game. You had to win that game. You had to win that game because Kansas and Illinois are good. They're good teams. You're probably going to lose to Illinois too, and you'll be 0-3 against your important games in the non-con. You needed to beat Minnesota and Notre Dame, and that's why that Notre Dame game still is just looming so large in the memory bank, because you had that game handled comfortably. And once again, it was a terrible end of the first half and an even worse start to the second half, and that is what Mizzou did against Kansas too. They were in the game, gave up a 12-2 run late, and I think that run ended up being like 20. I wrote it down.
21-6 or something like that. You're talking about the end of the first half.
It was a 21-6 run that you ended up giving up, and it's just not good enough. You can't do that in high-level basketball, giving up a 26 to run over 8 minutes and expect a chance to win a game.
Well, speaking of that, Grant, the Mizzou Central Postgame Show is brought to you by our home business banking partners at Home Bank. From business lending to everyday banking, Home Bank has been with us since day one as a trusted partner. Business is not just about the numbers, it's about relationships. And with Home Bank, those relationships make all the difference. Home Bank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. Home Bank, member FDIC. More than a bank, they are your business partners, and they do bring us the money moment of the game. And Grant, I just don't know how we sit there and think that there's anything, the money moment of the game being anything other than that run kind of capped by, the Tigers playing for one possession at the end of the first half. They're down by 5. And instead of getting a shot off, they get the ball stolen, gets to half court. Trey White basically pulls up with 0.2 seconds to go from beyond 3 and knocks it down. And it's an 8-point game at halftime. I mean, I just don't know if we can sit there and say this game turned on any other moment. Your thoughts?
Oh, it was that. I mean, that was the game. That was the difference right there. Trey White played an awesome game. He's fun to watch. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough how you end that half, how you start the next one, 21-6 run, and especially that sequence where you get a stop on defense, you're down 5. Okay, if we could just score even a 2-pointer here, we're down by a possession and we didn't play very well. You're over the moon with that. And then instead it's an 8-point game that felt like a monumental switch. Kansas ended up getting it up to 20 at one point. Yep. And then obviously Mizzou loses it by 20. If I'm going to go one positive.
Sure. Let's do it.
That dunk by Mark Mitchell was awesome.
It was beautiful.
I mean, Missouri took the lead. It was 23-21. And I don't remember what the score was at halftime. Missouri was up 23-21. They went into half 33-25. So, I mean, that was literally the last positive moment for Missouri.
Mark Mitchell doing what he always does with 21 points in this one. That was the money moment of the game, and it was brought to you by Home Bank, the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. So, Grant, one of the things that they were talking about during the broadcast, I'd be curious your thoughts on it. They talked about the delta, the great difference in schedules in non-con schedules between Kansas and Missouri. And KU comes into this one 6-3. The Tigers 8-1. The Tigers do have a win against a Power 4 opponent in Minnesota, but then loses the game to Notre Dame. KU's played some very difficult games. Tennessee, a few others to name a few. What are your thoughts on the way Dennis Gates goes about this? Because I think that the way it's been represented, and I've heard Gates say this, is that the SEC schedule is a complete and total gauntlet. You do not get any days off. He likes playing Kansas. He likes playing Illinois because he thinks the fans like it, which is a great point. Dennis Gates has always been very, very in tune with the fan base. And so, for that, he deserves credit. Having said that, with the way that the tournament and the selection committee is now viewing, losses against good teams, the quad 1s versus the quad 3s and that sort of thing, when this is all said and done, Mizzou will have played 10 games against teams that are, mid to low major caliber teams, and they'll have played 2 games in the non-con. Well, 3, sorry. I guess if you count Minnesota, 4 against teams that are Power 4 caliber teams. You're seeing a lot of teams play 6, 7, 8, difficult games in the non-con to gear up for their conference schedule. What are your thoughts on the way Dennis Gates does the scheduling? I don't know that he's going to change anytime soon, but it seems like KU was so much more ready to play in a game like this with its intensity than the Tigers were.
Yeah, and I think part of it is I don't hate the mindset of scheduling some easier games to try to figure out where your team's at. I don't think Missouri's at the point where they need to be like Kansas, where they're playing the UConns and the Houstons and Gonzagas, Kentuckys of the world. But that doesn't mean you can't play more Notre Dames. I mean, go play SMU, Arizona State. These are just some mid-level, high major teams I can rattle off that you're probably a little bit better than. Like Minnesota was fine, but you were a lot better than them. Why not play some teams that are a little bit better than Minnesota? Teams that you're probably a little bit better than. Like, that is what that frustrates me, that I don't understand, is why not play some teams that are just a little higher caliber? I'm not saying you need to play the Blue Bloods, but I would like to see a couple more mid-majors, high major teams.
Are you worried about this team's gumption? I don't know if that's the best word. I don't want to say, I mean, this team, I'm watching this and it's like, we talked about what happened at the end of the first half. And I think that killed this team. They were never in the game in the second half. A team with this age, with this experience, wouldn't you expect there to be a little bit more stick-to-itiveness, a little bit more, we got knocked down, here we come back up? I don't know. I guess I'm getting concerned because the end of the Notre Dame game, I think we saw a lot of the same stuff, a little bit of wilting.
I don't know if it's that I'm worried about their gumption. I'm worried about who the leader is, because Tamar Bates was that guy last year, and to a point, Caleb Grill, that no matter what, doesn't matter the situation, they're going to light a fire under your and look at Tamar Bates last year against Kansas. That's what we need to see from Missouri. Someone come up and light a fire under this team.
Couldn't agree more. And Mark Mitchell, I don't know. I mean, he obviously dictates. I mean, he's a great example on the court, right? He does play hard. He's the guy who's going to give you 20 every game for the most part. I mean, he is a great building block for this team. You mentioned Anthony Robinson as a guy who maybe needs to be that guy, but if he's not staying on the floor, what are we doing at this point in time? So yeah, I'm waiting to see this team get punched in the jaw and bounce back. And I don't think we've had that moment this year, have we?
No, we haven't seen it yet. They got punched in the mouth against Notre Dame. I will say the Notre Dame game, they had a big lead, so I don't know if it was really responding, but they steadied the ship. I would have said that maybe they bounced back if they won the game, but we haven't seen them take a deficit yet and come back. So maybe we'll see it against Illinois. Who knows? I mean, hopefully we don't have to see them respond against any of the other teams on their non-con schedule.
He is Grant Salzman. I'm Chris Pelican. This is the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. Tigers lose 80-60 to Kansas today. They fall to 8-2 on the year. Folks, now I'm speaking to the good folks of the state of Missouri. Your moment. It is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day, the tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code STL Sports. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code STL Sports. The crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Grant, we had 6 conference championship games yesterday. Sorry. Got something you got to play. I know that.
Yeah, here we go.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. One single use odds boost per customer. Market boosted to plus 100 odds. Max bet $50. Expires at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, December 7th. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Okay, sorry about that. Got to let him get his time in. Yeah, so 6 conference championship games yesterday. I laid a little something on every single one of them.
Yeah.
Guess how many I got right yesterday?
How many? Did you go 6-0?
0.
Wow.
I'm like, that was like, when Baxter, the dog, pooped in the refrigerator in Anchorman, or ate a whole wheel of cheese. Ron Burgundy said, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Like, I was actually impressed that I could go 0-6 in games. It's just impressed. It's hard to be that bad betting, but lo and behold, I
believe I went 4-2. I lost the 2 night games.
Look at you. I felt good about all my picks too. So that goes to show where my barometer is on gambling. So anyway, Tigers lose basketball wise 80-60. From a football standpoint, Grant, at this point in time, we found out that the Missouri Tigers will be playing in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl against a yet to be determined ACC opponent. So that thing could be anyone. We can maybe see ACC champion Duke in that, huh?
That'd be interesting. I'd be a fan of that for the Tigers.
Yes. Well, this is where we are at with the state of our basketball postgame show that we're talking about the Gator Bowl. But when you lose 80-60 in the border war against Kansas, that's what you get. So Grant, we'll start wrapping things up, my friend. Your thoughts on the game and where this team stands after today?
You got to put this behind you. It's so disappointing, especially when you play a Kansas to lose this game, but you got 3 weeks about till SEC play starts. You got to find a way to really beat Illinois now. Let's go beat the other rivals. I think it's the only way for this non-con to end and for this team to have really high tournament aspirations.
Tigers take on Alabama State on Thursday, then Bethune-Cookman a week from today. Then they get the following week off for finals, and then bragging rights against Illinois on December 22nd before they start the new year, and SEC play with Florida. So that is what is on the slate for this team. It is all in front of them. They still have the chance to be better than they've been. But I think we all agree we got to see something different than what we've seen the last 2 games for this to go from to turn into a good season. I think they very much have. You get swallowed up in an SEC if you play the way they played the last 2 games. So, in any case, yep. Well, Grant, I always appreciate it, my friend. Thanks so much for being with us today. Tigers lose 80-60 to Kansas in the border war. Again, for Grant, I'm Chris. We will see you next time here on the Mizzou Central Postgame Show on STL Sports Central.
MIZ.
ZOU.